Okay, imagine this. You're at a dinner party, or maybe you're on a first date. The conversation is flowing, everything is chill, and then, inevitably, someone drops the question. You know the one. It sounds like small talk. It sounds harmless. It sounds like asking someone, "Hey, do you prefer pizza or tacos?" The question, of course, is, are you a dog person or a cat person? But watch what happens the second that sentence leaves your mouth. People don't just answer it, they declare it. They answer too fast. They answer too confidently. And honestly, they answer a little too personally. Why? Because you didn't just ask them about animals. You didn't ask about shedding fur or litter boxes. Without realizing it, you just asked them about their emotional wiring. You asked them how they process intimacy, how they handle rejection, and how they move through the world. Most people think their preference is just taste. They think, oh, I grew up with a golden retriever, so I like dogs. End of story. But psychologists? They've been studying this for decades, and they keep uncovering the same pattern again and again. The consistency of the research is almost unbelievable. Today, we're going to unpack why your answer to one simple question could be the strongest clue to who you really are. Buckle up. We're diving straight into the architecture of your mind. So, before we get into the heavy stuff, personality disorders, trust issues, all that fun stuff, we have to start where this actually begins. It starts before the adoption papers. It starts before you even buy the food bowl. It begins with attraction. And I don't mean romantic attraction. I mean psychological attraction. It's that magnetic pull we feel toward things that match our internal rhythm. Think about it. When you walk into an animal shelter, you don't just flip a coin. You don't look at a dog and a cat and go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No. Your brain, specifically your nervous system, gravitates toward the creature that feels like a reflection of you. You are looking for a creature whose pace feels like a home you already know how to live inside. The research suggests that people who choose dogs are usually drawn to clarity. They want directness. They want predictability. When you look at a dog, you are getting the full emotional download, right? Excitement, worry, boredom, absolute devotion. It's all there. A dog tells you everything with its body. Nothing is hidden. There is no guessing game. And for some people, that is the only kind of connection that makes sense. It feels safe. But then, there are the cat people. If you chose a cat, you're probably drawn to something very different. You're not searching for loud certainty. You're drawn to depth. You're comfortable with what isn't said. You appreciate nuance. You don't mind a connection that has to be earned. And this isn't random. Researchers call it psychological symmetry. You're drawn to the animal that mirrors how you see the world, and the data backs it up. Okay, let's get into the hard numbers. When psychologists run these studies, and they have tested thousands of people, they always look at the big 5 personality traits. And the split between dog people and cat people is sharper than you'd think. Let's start with Team Dog. If you are a die-hard dog person, you statistically tend to score higher on extroversion, agreeableness, and conscientiousness. Now, what does that actually mean in real life? It means you lean toward sociability. You like warmth. You like structure. Dog people consistently describe themselves as people-oriented. They get energy from social contact. They are the ones who actually want to go to the team-building exercise. They manage tasks with discipline. They respond to the world with a straightforwardness that fits the emotional clarity of a dog. Basically, if you're a dog person, you probably aren't trying to decode the hidden meaning behind a text message for 3 hours. You take things at face value. Now, let's talk about Team Cat. If you're a cat lover, research shows you tend to score higher in 2 areas: neuroticism and openness. Now, pause for a second. I know neuroticism sounds negative, like it means you're constantly on edge, but in psychology, it doesn't mean crazy. It means sensitive. It suggests a rich inner life. Your thoughts tend to travel deeper paths than most. Cat people often notice details others overlook. They're comfortable with complexity. They don't feel the need to squeeze everything into a simple yes or no. There was actually a study from the University of Texas that found cat people scored about 12% higher in neuroticism than dog people. But here's the flip side of that coin. They also showed higher self-awareness, stronger vigilance, and a tendency to analyze emotional details that other people just walk right past. And then there's openness. This is the trait linked to creativity, art, and trying new things. Cat people drift toward the unconventional. They question rules. While the dog person is happy following the pack structure, the cat person is usually standing off to the side asking, "Wait, why are we following this pack again?" Okay, quick pause. I can hear the comments section typing already. But wait, I have 3 cats and I'm the life of the party. Or, I have a golden retriever and I have crippling anxiety. Look, I get it. We are talking about averages here. These are patterns that show up when you look at massive groups of people, not a rigid label stamped on your forehead. You can be a dog person who needs solitude. You can be a cat person who talks to everyone on the bus. The point isn't to shove you into a box. The point is to look at where you feel slightly more at ease. Which animal's energy makes your nervous system exhale? That's the key. Anyway, back to the data. Because it gets way more specific, especially when we talk about relationships. This is where it gets really interesting. Your preference reveals a lot about how you handle closeness, trust, and boundaries, the stuff we rarely admit out loud. Let's look at the dog people again. If you naturally lean toward dogs, you're probably someone who values clear, consistent emotional connection. Loyalty matters to you, and when you commit, you mean it. No mind games, no half-hearted promises. Dog lovers are often the steady ones in their circles, the reliable friend everyone leans on. They're more forgiving, more patient, and they usually give people the benefit of the doubt before assuming the worst. Studies also suggest dog owners tend to score higher on dominance-related traits, but don't take that the wrong way. It's not about being aggressive. It's about confidence, decisiveness, and being comfortable stepping up and taking the lead when needed. Think about it. A dog fits that worldview perfectly. A dog never questions your leadership. A dog doesn't withhold affection to test if you're worthy today. You walk outside, they are right behind you. You sit on the couch, they lean into you. Dog people relate to that simplicity. They crave that consistency. But cat people? They handle connection differently. People who gravitate toward cats don't trust easily, and it's not because they are cold. It's usually because they have seen what happens when trust is given too fast. They aren't afraid of intimacy, but they prefer intimacy that respects boundaries. They prefer relationships where choice matters, where affection is earned. Cat people understand that connection doesn't have to be loud to be real. They rely on self-analysis more than external reassurance. This mirrors the lifestyle data too. Studies show cat owners are a third more likely to live alone, especially single women. But this isn't about being lonely. It reinforces the pattern of valuing independence. Here's an interesting statistic. Cat lovers are more likely to have advanced degrees and score higher on certain intelligence tests. One possible reason? They tend to spend more time doing independent, mentally focused work, and they're genuinely comfortable being alone with their own thoughts. That mindset lines up perfectly with cats. A cat doesn't fake affection or put on a show. If one curls up on your lap, it's because it chose to, not because it's craving attention. And yes, even politics somehow finds its way into this debate too. Cat lovers tend to question systems. They drift toward ideas that don't fit inside the usual boxes. Research has found that cat preference correlates with being non-traditional. Cat people are statistically more likely to vote for progressive candidates, hold unconventional beliefs, and identify as atheist or non-religious. They aren't afraid to stand outside the group mind. But here's the part most people never think about, and this is the most important part. Your preference doesn't just reveal your psychology, it shapes it. It's a feedback loop. If you get a dog, you often become more structured. You have to. Morning walks, feeding schedules, daily training. A dog pulls you into routine. The dog doesn't just mirror your personality, it reinforces it. This is partly why dog owners tend to report better cardiovascular health and longer lifespans. It's not just the walking, it's the structure. You begin living around stability. On the other hand, if you live with a cat, you often become more introspective. Why? Because a cat rewards subtlety. You learn to read tiny signals, the slow blink, the tail twitch, the careful approach. Living with a cat requires intuition, not instruction. It strengthens the part of you that notices what others miss. Several behavioral studies suggest cat owners show higher sensitivity to micro-expressions and emotional cues in other humans. Both animals train the human just as much as the human trains them. One group thrives through openness and presence. The other group thrives through observation and depth. So, what does this mean for you? If you really want to understand yourself, truly understand yourself, don't just look at the animal you chose. Look at the version of you that animal brings out. If you are a dog person, ask yourself this: do you constantly manage other people's well-being because it feels like your job? Do you like knowing exactly where you stand with someone instead of guessing? Do you crave environments that are predictable because maybe unpredictability exhausted you at some point in your life? And if you are a cat person, ask yourself, do you keep parts of yourself hidden because you learned early on that not everyone is trustworthy with them? Do you trust slowly because your nervous system refuses to believe in shortcuts? Do you crave closeness, but only when it doesn't suffocate your individuality? Both paths come from experience. Both paths come from wiring you didn't choose. Both are real, and both are deeply human. So, the next time someone asks you, are you a dog person or a cat person? Just know what they are really asking. They are asking, how does your mind move? What does comfort look like inside your nervous system? Your answer isn't about the animal. It's about who you are when no one is watching. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. Does this psychological profile match you, or are you the exception to the rule? Let me know down below. And if something in this resonated with you, please hit that like button. It really helps this video find more people who are trying to understand themselves through the bonds they build. If you want the next deep dive to find you, hit subscribe. Thanks for hanging out, and remember, your preference is not random, it is you.